Hi there, it's me, Internet Tutorial Guy. Today I'm here to talk to you about VS Code. Now, if you want to program, you're going to need some sort of text editor. You can actually code in Notepad if you wanted to, or any text editor, but a lot of programmers have specific ones that they want to use because certain programming languages need to be compiled and need a little bit of help to run and have a smooth developing experience. Of course, you can write code in Notepad, but there are other solutions available. And the one that I favor, and a lot of other developers favor as well, is called VS Code. That is Microsoft's Visual Studio Code. Now, an important note about VS Code is that there are several Visual Studios, but there's only one Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is a easier, and in my opinion, better version of Microsoft Visual Studio. But their Visual Studio is a developing environment that's a little more complex. But Visual Studio Code does everything you'll need it to, I'm sure. And as you'll see, it supports pretty much any programming language. All right, so first I'm going to explain how to download VS Code. If you are confident that you can download and install a program, I'll put the timestamp right here to show what time I'm done downloading, and I go into how to use Visual Studio Code and some of the tricks that I like to utilize. But until then, let's get to downloading. So first things first, open up a Google Chrome tab, or any internet. I'm not particular. I use Google Chrome, and just go ahead and type in VS Code. This first link is what you want. You'll see this page. Another link that will pop up sometimes, if you were to type Visual Studio Code download, you'd see this one. It's a download page. Either works. We'll just go to the main one. If you're on Windows, there's a big blue button just for you. But if you are on Mac or Linux, these downloads here work under this arrow. I'm just going to click the big blue button. You'll see this Getting Started page. It's pretty short, but you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner is a VS Code user setup exe. Once that's done downloading, go ahead and open it. All right, once you open that up, you'll see this. If you're one of the people that reads license agreements, go ahead and knock yourself out. I'm going to not read it. And click accept and click next. You can put this wherever you want. This is just the directory that you're going to install VS Code to. I'll leave it as the default. I'm sure it's fine. This is the name for this start menu folder. Here, this is an important thing. Desktop icon, but there's also the option to open files with VS Code by default. I'm sorry, not by default. When you open the right-click menu, if you were to right-click on a file, you'll see Open with VS Code. I find these super helpful, so I just go ahead and click all of these, but you don't have to. Go ahead and click Next and let that install. Okay, it's done downloading. You'll see this. It's a completed Visual Studio Code wizard. Go ahead and launch it. Okay, so you open up VS Code. You'll see this welcome page. This welcome page essentially just it's basically just the file menu. You know, you can make a new file, open a folder. It's not too helpful, but yeah, you're in VS Code. You'll see you have 5 tabs on the left. So these 5 tabs, you've got the Explorer. This is your file explorer. So the way VS Code works is you sort of have this folder system. So if I were to make a folder, I'll just go to my desktop real quick and make a quick folder. We'll call this test. I can open a folder here, and you can see on my desktop, there's that test folder. And you can see VS Code kind of refreshed there. It kind of blipped on the screen. Now I've got this test folder open in my file explorer. So I can even right-click and make a new file. We'll call this html.html. And that in my test folder, now that html.html file is there. If I were to type hello into that, you can see once I do Control S to save, sorry, that was the thing I did, Control S, you can see this white dot on the menu bar that shows that it's not saved. I'll do Control S to save that. So if I were to open this up, you can see the hello automatically. You know, once you save the file, it works. So that's kind of the file explorer page, and this gets very useful when you have a big folder of a lot of things inside of it. Like if you had a ton of HTML files, CSS, and JavaScript files all in this directory, you could see them all here. So over here, there is a search tab. So if I were to search for hello in this file, it would show all instances of hello. This would actually show all instances of hello in any file. So if I were to make a new file, and we'll call this html2.html, and I would put hello in here as well. If I go to the search key, I type in hello, you can see I can see all the files that have hello in there, which is really nice, and you can replace as well. So this is useful, for example, for method names or function names. If hello was a function, I could change hello to hi, and then it would automatically change all instances of hello to hi. You just got to press replace right there. Sorry about that. So you can see in both files now it is now hi, and it saves that as well. So that's the search tab. I don't tend to use this much. You can also just Control F if you want to do that in a file. I guess this is only for the whole directory. But yeah, so next up is the source control tab. This is really nice. If you have a folder that is a Git directory, then you can see the source control here. I'll do a video all about Git in the future. But this is really convenient because you don't need to open up a command line or use like a desktop client or anything like that. You can just go here and there will be a push, pull, commit, all the Git stuff. So this is the source control tab. We'll go into that in another video, but now you know it's there. The other tab, this is the run tab. To be honest, in the languages that I've coded in, I've never used this, but I'm assuming this is like a compiler and debugger. Which perhaps I'll go into the future if you guys are interested in what this tab does, but I never really use this tab. And the last tab is the extensions tab. This is a really great tab. Extensions are kind of the big draw to VS Code because you can change a lot of things about VS Code with just a quick extension download. If you want to code in Python, you just install the Python extension. And you can see just after a second, it is downloaded. So say I was bored of VS Code as it was and I wanted a new theme, I could just look up themes, and you can see there's all kinds of themes. I'll just install a random one. That's light. Okay, there. See, now it's a kind of a bluer theme. I don't know if I'm a fan of this, but there are lots of options, I'm sure. These are more up my alley. The gray color. Yeah, that one looks nice. So yeah, you can just experiment with the store, download all the themes you want. Mess around with other programming languages and different language supports. One really great extension that I use a lot that I would recommend, I think it's called Prettier. Yes, it's called Prettier. It's a code formatter. So I just installed it there. And if I go to this HTML file, let's say HTML trick for you guys. If you just type in exclamation mark, it'll automatically give you a head tag and a body tag so you can start writing HTML. But let's say I were to make a few divs. Now, if you don't know anything about HTML, this is no problem. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm going to make some poorly formatted code where I'm just going to space out a ton and then say hello right here. If I were to save that and then format document, it's asking me to configure because there's an automatic HTML formatter, but a lot of languages don't have that. I'm going to select Prettier, and you can see that it automatically fixed my poor indentation and made it a lot neater to read. So this is really helpful, especially if you have like a huge 400 line code. Sorry. Especially if you have like a huge 400 line file. So that's a great extension. There are lots of extensions and there's lots to mess around with. I can make videos on future extensions as I find them. But those are just a few that I really liked. All right, so you've got VS Code installed. You've got a color theme. You've got language support. You are ready to go. Now you just need to learn how to program. Unless you're already a master programmer, I will be making programming tutorials on this YouTube channel. If you're interested in that from me, you just go ahead and like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. If you've got any questions or comments about VS Code, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer. And have a great day. Thanks for watching.